Yo, what's going on, Karma Nation? It's your boy Tristan, aka Sriracha DFS, back once again with DFS Karma. Welcome to another episode of NBA DFS DraftKings Picks on Sunday, November 21st, 2021, powered by DraftKings and DFS Karma, where I do a breakdown of the games for the slate, and as well as give you guys the top picks from each team. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to this YouTube channel so you do not miss out on any of our free media content or our live streams. Also, comment if you do indeed like our content or have any questions or just want to give feedback. We try to get back to everyone as possible, and a couple comments here and there I've been reading, and I'm taking it, of course, taking it all and trying to get better. Feedback, whether it's criticism or compliments, I do appreciate it all, and I just try to make it better every single time out. So thank you for all who do watch, thank you for all who do comment, criticize, or compliment, of course. And yeah, let's get right to it. First game on the slate, Lakers at Detroit. There's only 4 games today, so it's going to be slim pickings for stuff like value, stuff like studs, payups, and all that. So you're gonna want to really nail the plays today. So on the Lakers side, we have AD probable, and LeBron James is questionable. Austin Reeves is out, Trevor Ariza is out as well, and Kendrick Nunn's out as well. So first things first, LeBron James news. That's going to be huge for today's slate. Good thing we're going to get that before lock. I don't think he's going to sit just because he played 32 minutes last game against Boston, but it's definitely interesting to see him questionable again. If he is ruled in, I probably won't touch any of these Lakers besides maybe Anthony Davis, but he's still priced up at 10.6K. But if LeBron James is out, that changes everything in my opinion, because Talen Horton-Tucker becomes into play, Carmelo Anthony is in play, even Malik Monk is worth a punt. But Talen Horton-Tucker has been playing nuts without LeBron, and the game that LeBron comes back, Talen Horton-Tucker duds for 8.5 fantasy points. So, what does that tell you? If LeBron James is out, play THT. If LeBron James is in, fade THT. Moving on. Detroit's side, Isaiah Stewart, probable. Killian Hayes, questionable. And Kelly Olynyk is out. My take on this game is that Detroit gets a pace-up bump just because the Lakers play top 5 in pace. They're not that great defensively, as you can see, judging by their record, and the last couple of games they've given up to studs. So Cade Cunningham could be in a great spot, but he is going to have to deal with Avery Bradley, who is this year decent at defense. He's been better, of course, in other years, but he's still trying to lock up the opposing guard as much as possible. So if you do think Cade Cunningham gets locked up, you're going to be looking at people like Jeremy Grant and Sadiq Bey. I think Sadiq Bey is very interesting in GPPs, 5.6K, and if Cade gets locked up, they're going to need points somewhere, right? So Jeremy Grant and Sadiq Bey are my guys for that. Next game, we got the Knicks at the Bulls. On the Knicks side, Mitchell Robinson is questionable, Taj Gibson's questionable, and Obi Toppin's questionable as well. So the deal with this is Mitchell Robinson left last game, aka yesterday. He left yesterday's game with a nose injury. I think it was just a bruise, but he didn't return. So something to note and monitor. Taj Gibson missed last game as well. I think he could play today, so you're gonna want to watch that. And but if both Mitchell Robinson and Taj Gibson sit, then Nerlens Noel should get the bulk of the minutes at 3.7K. Should get almost all the center minutes tomorrow. So he's going to be worth a look if those two are ruled out. And then Obi Toppin is questionable just because he left last game. Just damn this Knicks team. He left last game because he went up for a dunk, and I think he didn't feel right after that. So he left, but came back in the middle of the last game. But still no news or update on him after that. So judging because he did come back in last game, he should be okay. But if he is not okay and he sits, then that's definitely going to bump up people like Alec Burks. I think RJ Barrett might get a full allotment of minutes. He's been playing like low 30s or even below 30. So that's definitely a turn from how things look earlier in the season. Um, Evan Fournier at 4K is interesting. You can't really predict the minutes that he's going to get. He got 30 last night, but before that, I don't think he got 30 for like 4 games in a row. So things are interesting regarding that, and I don't think I'd go anywhere else here. On the Chicago side, Javonte Green probable. Nikola Vucevic is questionable, and Patrick Williams is out. So the situation regarding this, Nikola Vucevic, he was out for 10 days because of COVID-19 protocols. But today marks the 10th day that he was out. So he could possibly come back today if his conditioning is all right. I'm not sure too much the situation there. But if he does come back today, all Bulls get a bump down. I mean, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, all those guys get a bump down if Vucevic comes back. But if he is still out, then of course they're in play just because of their ceiling and their potential. So, but one thing to notice, New York Knicks, a great defensive team, a slower paced team. So they'd be getting a bump down in pace, and they're facing a decent defensive team. So 8.7 for Zach, 8.5 for DeRozan. Those might be a little bit too pricey, but again, we don't have a lot of options on this slate, so you want to pick and choose wisely. Um, Next game, Denver at Phoenix. Another game where the news dictates how this is going to shape out. So, Nikola Jokic questionable again with his wrist injury. Zeke Nnaji out. Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray remain out as well. So, Nikola Jokic, if he's in, bump down to Barton, bump down to Gordon, bump down to Morris, Jeff Green, those guys. But if he's out, then Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Monte Morris, Jeff Green all look good in this situation. Against Phoenix, it's going to be tough because Phoenix is a better defensive team than the rest of them. I mean, better than New York, but it's still going to be a tough matchup. You know what I mean? Even if Jokic is out, so it's going to be interesting to see how things play out tomorrow. If Jokic is in or out, that's something to monitor for sure. And then of course the plays if he is out. So keep that in mind if you do see that, and that's just going to be something to look out for. So, but besides that, I mean, Aaron Gordon had the game of his life last game, absolutely nuts. And again, Phoenix, tough defensive team, man. So it's going to be tough if you do choose a spot tomorrow. On the Phoenix side, Abdel Nader out, Dario Saric out, and Frank Kaminsky out as well. I'm not liking too much here. I want to know if Jokic is in first to see if this game stays super competitive or not. Chris Paul has gotten his price reduced from 9K above, a little bit above 9K down to 8.9, and now he's at 8.3. So that's a big bump down, especially for his potential. He has sometimes 45 to 50 potential a night, and he's gotten there at occasions, especially this season. So 8.3K, he's worth a look in GPPs for sure. Devin Booker is a little pricey at 8.6. DeAndre Ayton, if Jokic plays, it's going to give him a tough matchup. So I probably won't go there if Jokic is in. But someone else I'm looking at for value, Mikal Bridges. He's going to play 30-plus minutes, of course. He's not enticing just because of his skill. He's a very good defender, very good role player, all-around great player. But he's not the type of guy who will drop and give you 40 just because he would, you're gonna get lucky if he does something like that. But he is worth good value just because of the minutes played, and he's a pretty skillful player. So that's someone else I'm looking at. Last game on the slate, Toronto at Golden State. Damn, another game dictated by news in my opinion. So the last 3 games are gonna be only 30 minutes from one another, while the first game starts at 3. So you're gonna be waiting 2 hours in between games from that first one to the last 3, and that's gonna be tough because I think every game has news. Lakers have LeBron, the Bulls have Vucevic, Denver has Jokic. Toronto has now OG Anunoby, who was supposed to be ruled out indefinitely, and he's back, I guess. I mean, he's questionable for tonight's slate. Utah Watanabe is questionable, and then Aaron Baines is out. Nothing really changes there if they do, if Aaron was in, or if Utah Watanabe did come in. So disregard that. But OG Anunoby, biggest news in this game. I mean, it's tough to read just because he was supposed to be out for a while and now he's questionable all of a sudden. If he's in, it's just a bump down to Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, Gary Trent. But if he's out, all of those guys get their bump up, and they're going to be facing a tough team in Golden State. I mean, Golden State is first in defense, but they're also, I think, top 10, top 5 in pace. So it could be a good matchup for him or it could be not. But I don't think I'd touch Siakam tomorrow because he's going to be going against Draymond. And Draymond this year has been a defensive monster. He basically anchors that team in defense. So if anything, I'd touch Fred VanVleet or Gary Trent Jr. tomorrow if OG decides to sit. Those are the guys I'd target. Probably even Scotty Barnes, but Scotty's been underperforming as well. So that's something to note. But yeah, Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr., two of my favorite guys if OG is still ruled out tomorrow. And then we got to see who starts at center because it's been a rotation between Precious Achiuwa, Kem Birch, and Siakam starting at center. So if anything, if Siakam does move to the 4, which I don't believe he will just because, he could. Sorry, that's kind of confusing. Golden State likes to play small. So Siakam could start at the 4 and then eventually rotate to the 5 and basically phase out people like Chris Boucher, Precious Achiuwa, and Kem Birch. But we could see one of those three, particularly Precious Achiuwa or Kem Birch, start at the 5 before all the rotations go into going small. So just something to note there in case you want to play someone like Kem Birch or Precious. I do believe Golden State's going to go small because their guys are back. Steph Curry's back, Draymond Green's back, and then those are the guys that allow them to play the way they play. So on the Golden State side, Gary Payton II is probable. Nemanja Bjelica is probable as well. Otto Porter questionable. Andre Iguodala is going to be out, and Klay Thompson, James Wiseman are going to be out as well. So just a look at this team for Golden State. I mean, you have Steph Curry, Draymond coming back. So Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole get a bump down. They were priced up after those two big games a big game from both of them. I'm probably not going to touch either of them here just because of that price up. Draymond Green is definitely interesting at 6.6K. I do believe he has 35 to 40 ceiling in this game. He might be someone I go to tomorrow for sure. And Steph Curry, you can never count him out, but 11.2K is pretty steep for his price. And you want to make sure that this game stays close if you pick Steph. Because he's going to be one of the reasons why they do so well in a close game. So that's something to note. And besides that, I wouldn't touch anyone else here just because there are people back. If Otto Porter sits, then yeah, maybe you can look at Nemanja Bjelica or Juan Toscano Anderson just because Andre Iguodala is already out and he plays like 20 minutes a game. And if Otto Porter sits, that's another 15 minutes that's going to be needed. So definitely look at Nemanja Bjelica or Juan Toscano Anderson if Otto Porter gets ruled out. But besides that, I think that's going to be all. So that wraps up this NBA DFS DraftKings Picks video for Sunday, November 21st. Again, if you like the video, please go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the DFS Karma YouTube channel for more daily media content and our live streams. I appreciate you guys all for watching, for commenting, leaving feedback as always. I try to get better every single day. And because of you guys, I know what I need to work on. So I appreciate that. It's been your boy Tristan, aka Sriracha DFS. And good luck in your contest tomorrow. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.